All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Coffee Run. Here we are. It's a Monday morning. It's middle of September. Starting to get cold out. But I'll tell you, it's funny. I moved, as you all know, I moved from Seattle over here to Wenatchee, Washington. And it's a smaller town, obviously middle of the state, way smaller town, like tiny town. And it's great because we have 4 seasons. In Seattle, you have 2 seasons. You have summer and you have mist. That's the 2 seasons in Seattle. Here we got all 4. And the summertime was great. It was 105, 110, 90, all sunny, all summer long. Was fantastic. Right now it's September, boom, 75, and we're getting ready. You can already feel the frost coming in the morning. It's starting to turn. We're going to get a real winter here. So it's going to be interesting. Like actual snow, actual winter. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, that's not why we're here though. We're here to talk about craps and all sorts of fun stuff. I want to show you something cool. One thing about this town is that it's very windy here. There's no trees, right? So it's kind of like deserty kind of sandy mountains, you know what I mean? And so when the wind blows, and it blows hard. Well, it blew my flag. We have a flag off of our deck, and it blew the flag so hard. It's an older flag, probably 15, 20 years old. So it blew the grommet off the flag, and the flag kind of started flapping around. So I had to buy a new flag. I go to this company. This is not an ad for the company, but they're called Allegiance Flag Company, right? They make flags here in America. Here in USA, made in USA, right? I ordered a flag Friday. It's already shipped. Look at this text message I got from them. This Allegiance saying, "Hey, Zach packed your flag and it's on the way." So the guy that made my flag and packed it up took a selfie with my flag and they mailed it to me. Isn't that cool? That's right. Good old fashioned American customer service right there. So I didn't have I got this message like 10 seconds ago. So I will put a little ad up tomorrow for them. I want you guys to, if you don't have a flag, get a flag. If you don't have a flag or your flag's old like mine was and you want to get a new one, go to Allegiance, man. That was really cool. It was it was $200 for the flag plus the pole plus the mounts and everything else. Well, I mean, hell, right? Made in America, customer service, awesome. That's the way things ought to be done. Isn't that amazing? So there's your Monday morning feel good. Okay, now let's jump into the Monday morning feeling not so great. Let's talk about a couple of things. Let me go to this screen over here. First things first. The website's up. I showed you last week that the Craft for the Cure website is up. We're going to look at it again really quick this morning. I got a couple websites to show you today, actually, and donations are coming in. We've already started getting a few donations, which is cool. We got, I think, $200 in regular donations, and I think 4 or 5 people signed up at $100 a piece to come. That's great. We're starting to groundswell is going to start building, right? Make sure you get your merch for sure, and all that. We'll review that here in a minute, which is pretty cool. I don't have any updates on. I'm waiting for rooms to get figured out. Rooms have been a nightmare for this thing, so I know that some people got their own rooms. I'm still working. I don't have a room yet, so I'm still trying to figure it out. I'll let you know what's going on. So the other thing in the news and notes in my warm-up session here is going to be, I want to talk about a couple of things with you, and I want to be really transparent with you. And if you go back and look, hey, good morning, Gary. Good morning, JR. If you go back and look at a couple of the older videos from last week before, you'll see a bunch of comments out there, and it got a little testy between me and a person or two in the comments. And some of that stuff hits pretty close to home. Like it hits pretty personal. And I don't want to get personal with it, right? I was tempted to write some personal things back. I just didn't want to do that publicly. I think that's the wrong forum for it, right? We can always have our disagreements on private side. But anyway, it was intimated a couple things. One, that I've created kind of a monster here, right? Which is, hey, you claim to be John, you claim to be a believer in truth, facts, science, math, all the things, right? Yet you espouse all the crazy. You entertain, non-factual things, non-science-based things. And it's an affront to people who've spent their lives in the math, in the facts, in the things. So when I spend hours and hours and hours, with somebody who's good at that stuff, and then I go and say, hey, look, here's this other way of thinking about it. To that person, that's like me giving them the finger, right? The words used where you shit on all of our hours together, right? Almost an exact quote. I don't look at it that way, of course, right? I feel like, to me, it's like you take, and hopefully you agree with this, right? I've been doing this show now for every day for going on 3.5 years, right? We've got a couple thousand shows in the hopper now, right? 3.5 years we've been doing this show. I've started with more of a Jeremy style thing. Let's go ahead and try this strategy out. Let's talk craps in the morning. Let's go try a thing out and see how it feels. And we do it live, right? That was my difference, was I was doing things live that other people had pre-recorded and then giving some analysis. And I was giving backup analysis. Like, I did it live. It didn't work. Here's why. Did it live. It worked. Here's why. Did it live. Here's the math. And we started getting into more, let's talk about probabilities and statistics and odds and all the things that make it all work. And it became more of a reality-based show, right? Then I went to dice control and we started, let's analyze that to death. And we analyzed the crap out of that. And, I've got some mixed conclusions on that. I'm still kind of in the gray on some of that stuff, right? And now the show's morphed into, like, let's just teach every day, right? It went to becoming gambling school for about 4 or 5 months there, right? And through all that time, the tack that I've wanted to take, or the position that I've wanted to hold, has been, or the rhythm I wanted to hit, I guess, on the show, is not so much that I am the guru, right? I don't want to ever call myself a guru. I don't want to give myself a title like that. I mean, you guys call me the professor sometimes. That's fine, because I do teach well, right? But part of teaching is not just saying this is the only way that it is. Like, I look at teaching like I guess the interesting thing about it is, math, science, those things are more hard, right? They're more, this is just the way that 2 + 2 is 4. You can't change that, right? So teaching somebody that and how to get to that is interesting. I don't care that 2 and 2 is 4, right? Like, I'm trying to teach, when I teach this stuff here, not that 2 and 2 is 4, but how many ways can you get to 4, right? How does 2 + 2 = 4? Let's break down let's make 2 marbles plus 2 marbles and count the marbles. That's the way I try. I try and teach in ways that make everybody think about the process of getting from point A to point B. And I think a lot of people, myself included, take detours from A to B, right? B might be the end point. A might be the starting point. We're all starting at A. We're all going to end up at B somehow. There's no denying that, right? It's how you traverse from A to B that is this journey that we're all on, right? And some people are going to go straight from it, right? They're going to go come bets and max odds and go from A to B, and they're going to lose their house edge, and that's it. They've already figured it out. They don't care. They're going to flip the table and say, fuck it. That's how we're going to. Some people are going to start at A and they're going to go all over the place. We're going to try this, try that, try this, and we're going to try and solve the unsolvable puzzle and still end up at the same place, at B. You're still going to end up where you're going to end up. It's the journey through there, right? And I'd like to teach and encourage everybody to try all the ways. You're all going to be in the same spot at the end unless you do something heinously stupid, right? There's no magic. There's no Jimmy. Jimmy's full of crap. There's no way to get to B without ever getting touched. You're going to get beat up on the way from A to B, right? There's no denying that. I like to give you tools and weapons and ways to play and ways to experience the game differently on your way from A, your starting point, to B, your end point, to make the game more enjoyable, more relaxing, a little less stress, right? A little more mindful, disciplined, focus, all those things that I say, so you don't get your ass kicked all the way across, right? That's my methods. I've tried to strike that rhythm, and I've also tried to strike it in a way, the Joe Rogan way, where Joe Rogan will say, look, here is, and he's not good as was before, but here's a guy, here's another guy, they disagree, they both get a voice. I don't really have an opinion other than to say, wow, that's interesting. Explain that more, right? I've always wanted to take that piece of it, that side, and like, hey, I'll let the DIs talk, I'll let the math guys talk, and let me just consume it all and let the conversation happen. And as an instructor, allow you to consume it yourselves, right? Well, what's happened is, question one, have I created a monster with that, right? Have I created a world in where, all sorts of falsehoods and factless ideas are abound? And anybody can say whatever the hell they want to, and there's no pushback from me. Like, there's things in chat that I know that are false, that I don't push back on. There are things that people email me that I know are false and don't push back on. There are things that people email me that are true. Fact, this is the fucking way it is, right? And I don't push it out there because I want to create an amoeba where you all hear it all and consume it all. I like to think that you're adults enough to consume it all and hear it all and do your own thing and craft your own journey from A to B and not have me tell you how to get there, right? I never wanted to do that. So that was, but I guess along the way, what's happened is we've maybe allowed too much non-factual things to enter the conversation. And we've also maybe said, hey, thanks, but no thanks for all that work and time you put into me and into the show from other people around. Again, there's people around that you don't even see or hear about, that I talk to all the time, that have a lot of input on the things that I have learned from 3 years ago to today, and how we present some of that stuff. If I've made them feel like that time was meaningless, then I apologize for that. And it comes across that way because I'm not saying that that's the only way. I'm giving you guys multiple things. Anyway, I want to strike that Joe Rogan vibe of, hey, here's A, here's B, here's C. I'm just going to sit back and let it all happen around me. And then when I come back and sum it all up, have a conversation about way you think critically with all that stuff to come to your own conclusion. Sometimes that conclusion may not line up with the math. Your conclusion may not line up with the actual way it has to be. And that has to be okay. There is some gray in all this stuff. And I feel like I live more in the gray than in the black and in the white. It drives my wife crazy. It drives a lot of my friends crazy, but I like to give room for all the things to breathe. And that's just the way that I teach it, right? And that's the way that I live it too. So if I'm too gray for people, I apologize. But if I've allowed, by being in that gray too much, if I've allowed too much, nonsense to happen, then I have to own that, right? So that's my question here, right? Have I fostered a world in which, we're dealing in non-facts? Anyway, I wanted to get that off my chest this morning. Not prepared speech, just kind of like what I'm thinking. Like I want to make sure that we're hitting the right chord here, and that I'm doing the right rhythm, the right things, the right frame of mind. That's kind of where that's like been my focus. Anyway, so just want to clear my chest a little bit. There's probably more happening on this topic over the course of the next few weeks. Again, I want the show to change over time. I don't want to do this lecture teaching thing every single day. I want to find other ways for us to enjoy our time together. And maybe that part of my life is over, right? The teaching part has to end and something else has to emerge from it. Maybe the coffee run becomes something different. So I'm going to keep exploring for sure. Like I said, you can't beat the game, right? The game is not a beatable thing. No matter what people tell you, it's not a beatable thing. And God did not create a strategy, Jimmy, that's unbeatable, right? It's not the way this works. You cannot beat the game. You can get lucky more often than you are unlucky. And if you do that, you can make sure you walk with money. Like that's what it comes down to, right? That's as simple as this whole thing is. It's about enjoying the journey. Like I said, it's about having that journey be not a direct come bets and max odds straight line from point A to point B. You can do this along the way, and you're going to end up here anyway. It's this. What are you doing in those moments? How do you enjoy that? Got me? All right, let's move on. Let's move ahead and get into other stuff. The schedule is actually coming together. I bought plane tickets. I will be in Vegas actually October 16th now. And I'll be working with Big AZ on the 17th and 18th. We're going to do some filming. I'll be at his tables. It'll be super fun. Then we transition that same week. So that 19th and 21st, that Saturday, Sunday, the 19th and 20th is Craps for the Cure. AZ is going to be there with me on the 19th. So I did confirm that with him. He'll be there in the morning session. We'll make sure I squeeze him in to be interviewed, of course, right, with me, but help me out with other stuff during that part of the show. So he'll be there in the morning on the first day, not the second day, which is awesome. And then we get into our cruise schedule following that. So there's all that. Talking to CQ hopefully this week, and we'll start getting myself out there on the regular as well. So all that's happening, which is cool. Not as cool as this though. The Craps for the Cure is coming along. And let me switch screens here. I'm going to show you where we are. Crapsforthecure.com, by the way, not that. I will show you that though in a minute. Crapsforthecure.com. Forthecure.com. Now I'm going to show you, again, this is, a TBD schedule because now I know that AZ is going to be here. I think his plane is at like 3 o'clock or something. I'm going to bring Big AZ here in the morning and have him with me for a little bit and talking to some people before I might back the whole schedule up a little bit. So we'll have to figure out how that's going to work. But again, the schedule's here. It's fluid, but you know that we got from 10 to 7, 6 o'clock being the last hour, 10 to 7 packed with me talking to people talking to people, rolling on the Casino Quest tables, doing all the things. Then we're going to jump out to the casino. We have a private table out at Sunset Station. We have tables over at Palace Station we can play at. So that's the day schedule. If you want to donate, click the link, pick an amount, drop the money, right? If you want to bid on one of the raffle items, okay? Tony Leo's Wage Craps Consultation, Garrison's Platinum Craps Dice Setting Super System, and the John Patrick book and the DVDs, Casino Player, is giving away 5 subscriptions to Casino Player and Strictly Slots. They're also going to donate. Making a donation to the charity for every subscription that somebody makes beforehand. So if you want to get in on that, do that. Casino Tiers puts up dice and a mug. The Pro Pack, Bo Parker, full seminar. Heavy, full seminar. Full handmade cutting board from a subscriber. Joe, I don't have pictures of Joe's table, but Joe from Craftmaster Journey has this table, that custom made table for us. And of course, cruising with me. All these things, $1 an entry, right? 25 entries, $25, right? Again, this thing here, this cruise is probably worth about $5K. You're going to cruise for free and get $500 to play with. That's a $5,000 item. Get your bids in on that. When else can you get to see a glacier fall apart with me and my wife in Alaska? It's going to be freaking awesome. That's a bucket list thing, right? Joe's table, bucket list thing. One of those tables on the planet. One of these cutting boards on the planet. Get in on that stuff, right? And I'll start giving you numbers when I start seeing the bids come in on these things. I'll start trying to share with you who's doing what. If you're gonna come, and even if you're not, hit the merch button, right? You can buy yourself a cool laptop, car sticker, the official shirt that I'm gonna wear, a nice little fanny pack, the mug, and a couple other t-shirts. I'm working on a women's friendly t-shirt as well, but get all your stuff ordered and come out there wearing the stuff, man. Start representing the thing. So that's Craps for the Cure. And again, I'll do a short version of that every day so we can all see it. But I think it's important that we're all in on that. We're going to transition here to daily paycheck, and I'm going to show you where we are. I'm just going to give you the numbers here. This is the daily paycheck, and again, I've changed this thing here a little bit. So a couple things new in the app. If you're a member of Casino Gaming TV, which is free, you're logged in, you get to go to the session logger. That's where we are here. And you can choose the casino that you're playing at. Like my daily paycheck, my Muckleshoot, my local casinos over here. You can see how I've done at the local casinos. I haven't put my last 4 or 5. I have to get more diligent about putting trips in here. But anyway, for daily paycheck, the source of funds is now practice money. So the bank, if I do like all sources everywhere from the bank, this is all my casino play. This is where we are, right? But it's not accurate. I got like 5 or 6 more trips to put in there. But anyway, this thing here will give you a graph kind of where you're at, how you're doing. But for daily paycheck, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. We got like $60,000 in profit, 76,000 total. We're 10 sessions away. Right here. Here's the next buy-ins, right? We're going to buy in for 11.5 tomorrow, and we're going to start rocking this thing up. Our last day, we're buying in for about $15,000 and winning 3 and being done, right? Here's the graph of wins and losses as we go. So this will be kind of updated in real time as we do it. That's the new thing. You have this is free. You guys have this yourselves. You also have the roll tracker. So don't forget that if you're here as a member, all free. Do your own roll tracking. Log everything you want to log. So there is that. Let's get back to the show and hustle ahead here again. Daily paycheck. Again, September 11-2. Not too bad. 85% win rate. Not going to always happen. I keep trying to temper this down, right? We had a good one. The nice thing about it is that you're dodging the 7 the way I play it for 2 rolls, right? How many days can I get 2 rolls without a 7, right? I'm not trying to get a long roll. I'm not trying to hit a home run. I'm not doing the Alfredo thing where we're going to, press, regress, and do all the things. We're getting 2 freaking hits and getting the hell out of here, right? I have a better chance, I think, of getting it done that way. Sure, we're going to lose, 16%. 85% of the time, we're going to get past that first roll, which is fantastic. You get past the first roll, you're only going to lose 10% of your money. That's how I've set this thing up, right? That's great. So 85% of the time we get past roll 1, it's awesome. Okay. Again, another 85%, you get past roll 2 and you're at paycheck. It's 2 rolls to paycheck, right? And I'm trying to limit the amount of times I get my ass kicked. I'm trying to limit the need. I know my spread is big on these things, but it works. This has been the most successful I've been live with you all in the last 3.5 years. It's the most successful I've been at the casino playing this way too. The 2 hits and gone thing is it's the way to build a bankroll so far. Knock on wood, magic wand, whatever you want to call it. It's been working. right? We're ahead of the game, and I'm happy about that. So I'm not gonna, you know, cluck crow or anything like that, but we're doing all right. I think that's the way. I think trying to get 10 wins or trying to, you know, regress and then press into a miracle or rely on the ATS is not the way to get it done. So we've been lucky. We've been lucky, and we've been, I think, a little bit here too, a little smart. There's the totals for you. All right. So I want to get into it doesn't, yeah. So let's go back and talk about that. I think Duracell brings a good point, right? I say the game can't be beat, yet I'm showing my paycheck results and it appears I'm beating the casino. Am I really beating the casino or not? Or am I just getting lucky? And this is what it comes down to. Am I getting lucky? What I've done is I've set myself up in a way. And again, this is completely, let me go back a screen. There were two moments where I made a switch that made this happen. And if you take a look at the screen, let's go back over here again. Look at the screen where let me get my browser back up, where we have the big graph. There's the session logger, and here's the big graph. And I'm going to go back to this making daily paycheck. Okay. You can look at the grind, right? This is us grinding. Now, again, the numbers are bigger in the end because the amounts are bigger, but we are grinding like crazy in here. We're up, down, up, down, up, down. It's like, you know, and remember some of these days back in, let's go back to like August of last year. Okay. These little wins in here, we can go to, I want to find the month where I played. There's a grinding month. What was this? This was the 3-point Molly month, right? Where every day this month we played the Molly. I hated it. You're up and you're doing this, right? Not only was it a grind financially, right? Some of these days, some of these wins right here, that might have been 60 rolls, right? Some of these days were easy, right? Some of these days were a nightmare, 60, 70, 80 rolls to get. And how hard was that? Remember, I was bitching and crying every single day about it, right? It was such what's the word I'm looking for? It was just I hated it. I can't go to the casino and try and win $500 bring 10 grand to win $500 and be out there for 70 freaking rolls trying to make it happen, right? You're never going to beat the casino that way. Yeah. In those situations, there's going to be times where you hit the ATS. That's going to happen. You're going to have those sessions where you buy in and you grind and whack an ATS and it makes your day, right? We had a couple of those on those early shows. But I can't play that way, right? I can grind. I don't mind grinding. I grinded most of my life, right? But it's unenjoyable to build a bankroll that way. And I told you before, there's a video that I think it's number 5. I'll put the video out with the roulette guy, right? One guy puts $100 on red. Lady has $100. She puts $1 on red every single time. And then the guy's got $1 million and puts $1 on red. Who's going to win $100? The first guy's got the best chance. He could lose it all, but he also has the best chance to win $100. The math behind that was like eye-opening to me. Like, it's like the thing that you intrinsically know, but you don't want to know, right? You don't want to believe that that's true, but it's actually true. Then again, talking to my good friend, he's like, hey, you're not using your bankroll right. If you're gonna say you're gonna put in $2,000 and you're looking to win $500, let's say that was the thing, right? And you're gonna try and win 25 hours at a time, you're gonna be there forever. You gotta win. You gotta beat the 7 at least 8 times in a row to get your paycheck. Or you gotta press up enough times and hit a pressed bet, and you gotta catch lightning in a bottle to make it. You're gonna drive yourself insane. Use your bankroll to its best, and that's what the drawdown does. I went back to the Dallas drawdown, and I said, let's tweak the numbers so that we use our bankroll to our best. Am I beating the casino with this? No. I'm lucky that I'm rolling 2 rolls before a 7 most of the time. 85% of the time, I'm getting there, right? You should be 85% on the first roll, right? That number there is not surprising, right? On the first roll. It's the second roll, doing it a second time, that I'm still at 85%. That's where I'm getting a little bit of a spiff. That second roll, beating the 7 twice in a row with an across bet, is about a 68% or so, something like that chance. Right? I should be at 68 or 70%, not 85%. I'm getting lucky on the second roll. And I've set up the strategy in such a way that there's only 3 outcomes, right? Let's take 320 across as the example. We'll use more human numbers, right? 320 across. Option 1, I lose 320. We PSO, we lose 320. That's one thing that can happen. The second thing that can happen is that you hit a number. Let's take an inside number for $70 and you pull it down. So you're going to bring back 160 because you're going to draw your bets by half, and the 70, right? That's 230 in your rack. You were out for 320. So your at risk now is 90. I could lose right there. I could lose 320. I can lose 90, or I can win $105. Again, 4 or 10s notwithstanding, I can win a little more. That's the three options we have. Lose 320, lose 90, win 100. What's happening is I'm winning the 100 87% of the time instead of 67% of the time. So I'm getting an extra win or two over the course of a month than I should. That's what's happening, right? I'm throwing well enough or getting lucky enough to get that extra hit. So I win the $100 an extra time or two over expected. I'm not beating the casino, but I'm playing in a way that I know my outcomes. Lose it all, lose a little bit, win a decent amount. That's it. That's how this works, right? And again, if you can get in a variant like I am, where I'm doing it more often than not, that's what I say. Win more often than you should, right? Win more than you lose. In other words, your 5 wins should be more than your 1 loss, not each win being more than the full loss. Win 5 times, the 5 total wins add up to more than your 1 total loss, you're ahead. That's the secret. That's the secret sauce. That's the Dallas Drawdown. That's how I'm playing right now. And it's working. And you're right. Those 2 hits are hard to get in real life. They are really freaking hard to get. And it takes balls to do it, right? And again, I went to Tulalip last weekend, right? And I bought in for $700 and I went 320 across on myself, right? 3 times. And I was shitting Twinkies the entire time because it's a lot of money out there. It's a big chunk of my bankroll, just like it is here. And I pulled the move off every single time, right? And every time I went 320 to 160, I had $100 in my rack and $5 table, 32 across, and pushed it, right? Twice I made a home run. I had a repeater on a number. Once I hit, I hit 2 talls the one night, 1 tall the second night from that amount. It takes guts to do it, but like my Opie movie says, if you don't use your bankroll, why bring it? If you're not going to use your bankroll, why bring it? And trust me, trying to win 10 times. If your goal is $100 and you're winning $10 at a time, you got to beat the 7 10 times in a row to get it. And that's really, really hard. You're asking a lot. And this is why they say right side bettors die broke, because they're trying too hard, right? Yeah, sometimes you catch an ATS that covers all that mess up, right? Matter of fact, it's a good segue, right? Sometimes the ATS covers up your mistakes. And I've been here too, right? 64 across goes down, 64 across goes down, 64 across goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down. Then you pop a tall with $10 on it, and you're back in profit again. And you're like, I'm the greatest craps player on the planet. I'm the best dice thrower ever. I saved, right? We hit a tall. Maybe you catch an all that day, and you walk out with $1,000. And what really happened was you got your ass handed to you on your regular strategy 4, 5, 6 times in a row. Random roller beats you 3, 4 times in a row. You're chopping a table. You're right. Pop a tall, and you feel like you're the God's gift to the game, right? The ATS covers up mistakes, I think, is what happens a lot of the times. And if you hit it early enough, it can become your chip porn, right? Ultimately, what I want to do is be a better craps player. I would like to have my regular gameplay be so solid that I don't need the ATS to win, where the ATS becomes an actual bonus bet. An actual bonus bet, not a thing that covers up my losses or is the reason for the win today. Like, I'm not playing for it, right? And like I say, it's hot garbage till it wins. Hot garbage till it wins. And it is the source of a lot of chip porn. And it can be, like I said, it can mask what's happened, right? How you play it? I think you can play it, and I'll show you here in a minute a little. I did it this morning. We almost hit it, actually. You can play it in such a way that whatever you've got out there on the ATS, you're playing other things for the purposes of paying for that bet and letting it ride. You can play the bonus as a side bet or as your primary bet. I think you have to look at it and say, I want this to be the way that I win. Fine. If it's the way that you win, you better find a way to pay for it. If you're going to treat it as a side hustle bonus, then fine. Bet it at side hustle bonus amounts. Don't bet it at bankroll amounts. Follow me? The other bonus bet I wanted to talk about was the repeater. To me, it feels more doable. I see it happen more often. The wins are less monstrous, so the ROI is lower, but your win rate's a little bit higher. Here's some of the percentages, right? It's hard to hit, right? It's really hard to get, 4 4s or 10s before a set. It's really freaking hard. That's why I pay 65 to 1. But I'm going to show you how you can do it yourself. Not every table has it anymore. We're going to show you a way to do it yourself. And another side bet, if there's a table you're at that doesn't have the repeater, doesn't have ATS, doesn't have fire bet, like a lot of cruise ships, you can do the big AZ hit for the cycle idea, which is hit all the hard ways once before a 7, right? Or at the least, hit 4 hard ways before a 7. Now, the Wizard of Odds says this, right? To do that, it's about a 2% chance to roll any 4 pairs. Now, he's doing with the 2 and 12. So we have to, the chance is actually a little less than 2%. It's probably like 1.75 or something. It's about a third less than that. But this is an interesting little side bet you can do yourself. Again, another DIY thing. Put them out there, press them all, keep track and pull it down, right? These are ways you can play side bets. And again, I think side bets, the hard way side bet, the repeater side bet, the ATS side bet can be ways to augment things, right? Unless it's your primary source of income. And I think that's what happened. I think we've turned these things into primary sources of income. And it's an interesting to watch the mentality of people. And you watch, again, I say it, you watch Facebook and it's, I won all this money. How'd you do it? Okay, I hit the ATS. Well, good for you, right? Caught lightning in a bottle, right? You can't say you're a good slots player if you sit down at a machine and it pisses out a bonus for you, right? So there you go. 100%, Mark, the point. I think everyone should practice throwing dice against a wall and practicing betting. Betting is where it's at. And again, not that you can find a way to bet that beats the casino, but getting the rhythm of the game is an interesting thing. I think we've let it go. We've let it go away. We've let it go away in favor of looking at ATS wins, right? And again, I want to be fair to the ATS. You can make a ton of money with it when it works, right? But you got to not let it bleed you out. So here you go. Yeah, Tom, learning how you get whacked is a big part of my show for sure, because I get whacked all the time, right? In all kinds of various ways. So let's go to my table. Let's go out there and switch up the view here, and let's play a little bit. Let's go out there and I'm going to show you these side bets that I've talked about and what you can do to kind of cover it, which is interesting. Here we go. Let's go. I'm going to change microphones here so you can hear me. Let's go there. Okay, I'm going to bring my coffee with me too. Let's do it. I did a version of this on the coffee room, on the Daily Paycheck today, and it was just kind of for funsies, and we actually were close to one of them. So let me show you these bets in practice. Now, you can't see my hard ways. I'll do the hard way one first. I'll put the hard ways here in the come, and just, actually I'll do them here. We'll do them up on the numbers. These are hard ways bets, just for the sake of argument, okay? There's no bet on the table like AZ would wish there was. That was like, hey, let's put $1 on all the hard ways. The hard way, whatever you want to call it, right? Let's simulate what that would look like. I'm going to do a pretend set of bets here, and let's make our own side bet. Let's do what he wants to do, okay? Let's say we'll do the worst case scenario first. It's all 4s and 10s, okay? Let's say we hit a hard 10 before the 7, all right? And that's going to pay, as you know, 7 to 1. I'm going to put the $7 out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, $7. Okay. Now, as a player, you're going to have to power press. You're going to have to drop $1 to make it 8. Okay. Ask your dealer to press them all by $2. $2 on each of them. So you're going to take one hard way win and press them all. That's one win. I'm going to mark it. There's one hard way win. Okay. Let's pretend it was a 10 again. We'll do it again. The worst case scenario. The 10 hits again. 3 times 7 is $21. There's $21. Okay. What you got to do here is, again, you can power press it, or you can do a little bit of a softer one, right? If you power pressed and gave them $3, $24. Then you can say, give each one of them $6, right? Press them each by $6. Or you can go, there's 4 like that. You can keep your $1 and say, give them each $5. Okay, we'll do that. Right? Give them each $5. Now they look like $8 each. That's our second hard way hit. We have $1 in the rack. We made $1. We're only in this thing for $3 now. Okay. Now, Let's say the 4 hits, the hard 4 hit, and you're in a miracle here. The hard 4 hits. Okay, we have $8 on it. Okay, what is 7 times 8? 56 bucks. Let's do like this. We'll do. There's $55, $56. Okay, we can do a number of things here. We can take 40 bucks and give them each 10. It's a nice, easy way to do it, right? Did I screw that up? 40, 55, yeah. We can take that money back, right? There's $16 there. You can also give each one of them an extra 4 bucks, right? Take the 16 bucks and give them each another 4. We'll do that. We'll make it like 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I'm making this up as I go along, right? So there's another 4 bucks. And that's each one now on that third hard way hit is going to look pretty sweet, man. Pretty freaking sweet. Look at this. Okay. Now, the whites are, so each one has $17 on it. Again, we're taking the worst possible case, which is the 4s and 10s are the only ones that are hitting. But you got 17 bucks on each one. Now I got to do some actual like math here, right? 17 bucks. That was the third hard way hit. On the fourth one, again, 4 hard way hits before the 7 comes. A miracle happens, right? The 10 hits, right? And we've got $21 on it, or $22. Yeah, 22 bucks on all the numbers. They all have 22 bucks. What's 22 times 7? Okay, well, 2 times 7 is 14. That's 140, right? And 2 is 14 bucks. That's 154 on that hit. On the fourth magical hit, 154, right? We'll do 155 for the 1 and down, and then down. Take it all down. So your $4 investment, 1, 2, 3, 4, turns into all this, whatever the hell this is, right? What does this thing pay? 25, 50, 75. There's 75. I'll make that a black. Look at that. That pays for 4 bucks, 225, 235, 239. They probably pay that 200 to 1, right? For your hard way thing. Your hard way, any 4 hard ways, 200 to 1 is probably what the casino would pay you on that. Some kind of 20% house edge bullshit. That's what that can turn into. How many times have you seen 4 hard ways hit before the 7? It happens quite often, actually. I actually see that a lot, and I'm never on it, right? Interesting little side bet for you. For $4, you can turn into this, right? And let's put that aside. For 4 bucks, you can play that way, okay? And again, I'm looking at bubble craps. I'm looking at stadium craps. I'm looking at games you can play at the dollar level. Now, what if you wanted to play the repeater bet? Let's do that. Let's go 32 across. Again, I can do this in my casino. 32 across. And let's take each number at repeater levels, right? To get a repeater bet on the 10, you got to hit it 4 times, right? Repeater means, probability speaking, you're going to get 3 before a 7. The extra one is the juice. How does it look if you were ballsy enough to say, I'm going to play the repeater on the 10? Cool. 5 pays 9, right? I would probably power press that and make it look like 15 bucks, right? That's your first hit on the 10. On your second hit of the 10, let's mark it now. Your second hit of the 10, 15 pays, 25, $27. We'll keep 2. We'll go to 35. On the third hit of the 10, 35 pays, 70 bucks. There's your 70. Okay? It depends on where you live, right? When the vig gets taken, but there, guess what? Now you're at 110. Okay, 35 plus 70, it should be 105, not 110. 105, sorry. I have an extra nickel out there. 105, okay? This could be considered the vig. Let's put that over here. Okay, now, just call it the vig. It pays 200 bucks. And guess what? You're out 300 bucks for a $5 bet, right, on the fourth hit. That's a repeater bet on the 10. You have to not care. You have to be like bam, 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 right? Let it go 4 full presses and you can pull that money off of there, right? Same thing with the 9. Let's do the 9. I think I did that one right. Let's do a 9. 9, or the 5, right? 5 pays 7. Looks like 10. That's the first one. The second one, 10 pays 15 for 1. Looks like a quarter. Third hit, 25 pays 35. Looks like 60. The fourth hit, 60 pays 85 for 1. For your last one, you're still in the game. Where are we at? 145. Okay. Well, how does 145 pay? On the miracle shot, the money shot here, right? 100 pays 140. Okay. 25 pays 35. 20 pays 28. Right. So it's 140, 175 plus 28, 190. What was that? 198 or whatever. 190. Right. That pays 63, right? Yeah, 63 plus 140, so yeah, 203. 203 bucks. Booyah, right? Again, for $5, a couple $100 in profit. Same as the 10. They all work out to be about the same, by the way, right? For $5. That's the repeat. This is a do-it-yourself repeater bet. You got to be at a $5 table to pull this move off, to start the bet there, to make it happen. But again, and the 6 and 8 work the same way, right? So you can take, for 32 across, right? You can take a shot at one number going crazy and win you a couple $100. Pretty cool. So $4 for the hard way play, 32 across for the crazy play, for the crazy press for the river play, and then your ATS. What's your ATS going to cost you? 555. 510.5, which is a good, I like having the middle one bumped up. If that's the case, you got 4 plus 32, that looks like 36, plus 20, $56, and everything is a home run. Side bet, $56 side bet. One of your side bets could be 20 bucks. One of your side bets could be 4, or you could do all 3, right? If you're doing this, if you're doing 10, or 5, 10, 5, your goal in that hand should be here. You should be here. You should be going 66 inside. Take one hit and not care, right? Let's roll the dice. Where's my dice? Let's get the whites out here, right? 66 inside. There's an 8 for the point. Let's not be it's a freaking 7, of course, right? Let's pretend it wasn't. Let's pretend that wasn't a 7. Let's pretend that wasn't, oh my God, can you roll a freaking number? This is why you don't roll in front of it. There's a 9. That does pay $21, right? 21 bucks on that 9. If that were to happen, guess what? The $20 covers your ATS. Bets off. Right? Play in a way that this covers that. And then you can sit back and relax and let the side bet be an actual side bet, right? Where we get burnt a lot of times is by having too much out here and playing this thing here too long, right? Playing this too long. Again, I lost 66 bucks on that 7, right? But playing it too long, okay, I'm gonna get 2 or 3 hits. We're gonna go for two or three hits, right? You get the 9 to hit, awesome, 21 bucks, right? And you go here and you get a 10, you miss, right? A 2, you miss. You're getting the ATS though, 7 out. Right? In that case, you got 21 bucks off. It covered your ATS, but you still lost $66, right? Taking the hit and turning them off and paying that bet is an interesting way to do it. And I've seen teams do this, where you have one player on the team whose job it is to cover the other guy's ATS, right? And maybe one guy's doing at a bigger size table. That repeater bet that I showed you at $5, if you're at a quarter on that 10, somebody's going 160 across on a big dollar team, doing the repeater target, and one guy's going 25, 50, 25. That's 160, 260, and $5 on the hard ways, or maybe $10 on the hard ways. It's 40 bucks. That's 300 bucks. One guy's got to win 300, while we have 10, 10, 10, 10 on the hard ways, $100 on the ATS, and 160 across. If one guy can win 300 bucks and 2 guys are doing the crazy miracle, teams can combine bankrolls and do that kind of stuff, right? It takes trust. It takes a little bit of, I don't care that you're gonna lose every single time. as the home run hitter. The home run hitter is going to lose, 20 out of 25 times he's going to lose, right? Maybe 1 out of 4 of those win during a full round of the table. The other teammates got to be okay with that, right? But treat the side bets either as a side bet, and what I mean by that is, even at 160 across, it's 1-2-1 on the ATS. It's a $4 bleed, right? Treat the hard ways as a $4 play, right? Going after that with huge bank is going to hurt you. But if it's a side bet where it's dollars and it's not going to destroy your bankroll or remove your ability to keep playing, like I said before, a lot of times what I see with ATS players is the ATS takes a third or more of their bankroll because they're playing too much ATS versus their regular play. And all of a sudden their money goes away, right? And come on back in here. Let's go back here. Where I think people make mistakes on this, right, is again, making the ATS a primary part of their play, where when it doesn't win, even at 555, if you're buying it for $500, 555 10 times is $150. That's a third of your bankroll gone on a side bet. That level of bleed is way too much for most people to bear, but they want to play it. That should be a 1-1-1 player, not a 5-5-5 player. Treat it as a side hustle, not as a primary. Right? When it hits, even at 1-1-1, it still covers up a couple of losses. That's my thoughts on it. And I've seen people do this, Vegas. I've seen the ATS played as a ladder. Let me go back there. I'm going to show you this because I think it's interesting. I know you play with a pretty good sized bankroll, right? And what you can do is this, and I've seen this work, but you got to have bank to do it, and you got to have friends. What if you did this? What if you started out with 5, 10, and 5, and it doesn't win? There's $20, and then you go out there 10, 20, and 10, and it doesn't work. And then you go out there with 15, 30, and 15. Like go up by $5 every time, right? Ladder it up as you don't win it. Eventually, these wins, because they're laddered up, easily cover your losses, right? The problem is every time you're doing this, the bleed is big. But if you're doing stuff up here, right, that covers that, or you got a teammate that's covering that, right? And again, the pass line, that's not your hedge. If you're gonna, again, if you have to play the pass line, play it for more. Like that needs that to me. You can't have the 7 just tying every single time. And a matter of fact, if I won $25 and I lost this up here and I pushed it back up again, right? You'd have a nickel change. I'm going here with it. Like you got to treat this not as a hedge, but as an attack on this, right? And I really truly believe you can make money here if you're going to play it targeted, laddered up. You're doing the thing while somebody else is funding it, or your play funds that. And if that's all you care about is the ATS, fine, fund it. At $20, it's 66 inside. Take my hit, turn the shit off, and let that thing happen or not. Right? When I'm at the 25, 50, 25, or 100, 200, 100, I got to win $400 somehow. If I'm at 1-2-1 in black chips, I better win $400. I better be at 640 across, taking 2 hits down to 320, taking a hit and turning my bets off. Take the 140, 140, and 70 and ride it out. And let the play happen, right? I think that's an important thing to treat these things as if you're going to attack it smartly. You're still going to get crushed, right? You're still going to get crushed, but at least you have a way to kind of fund it. I think that's an important thing. Yeah, don't let your pass line cover it. Make your pass line hammer your bonus. I think that's an important thing to it, right? Your pass line should be bigger than the bonus, even by a little bit. You want that 7 to be strong. Matter of fact, to me, a $25 pass line, 5, 10, 5, and a $5 world, that's a great come out play, right? You catch a horn number, it covers your pass line, and it's part of the ATS, right? If you catch a 7, your pass line wins, the $5 goes back to the world, and you can press it still up, and you're good. I think that's an important piece of it. You're going to play it, you got to play it smart. You can't just rip money out there and bleed it out. And like I say a lot, if you're going to play the ATS, some people say I have a separate bankroll. If you're going to do that, do that. Bring $1,000 and play, if you're going to play 25, 50, 25, like I think you might do, that's only 10 shots at it. You bring a grand, you take 10 cracks at it. If you don't get it, it wasn't your day. And that's a big bleed. But when you see it come out of a separate part of your rack and you go, oh my God, I blew a grand on that thing, that'll start changing your mind a little bit. I hope so. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I know. 7 doesn't. Yeah. It's funny when the 7 doesn't. The thing is, I got to show you like what you want to have happen, right? If we just lose every time, it's not any educational value. So anyway, I got to get out of here. It's like 9 o'clock and stuff. So let me go to the end here and hit the questions. I'm going to check for PCs in here. Are there any PC questions? Let's see. Any PC comments for me? Oh my goodness! Look at all the comments. Wow. Everyone's said to evolve in their philosophy. Yeah, well, I agree with that, Louis, and I have, right? I think over the course of years, I have. I played craps since I was like 21 years old, right? I got 30-something years doing this, and I played with a teeny tiny bankroll for the longest time, right? I am the definition of a play all day grinder guy, right? When I transition now into build bankroll mode, my mindset, I told you a few weeks, my mindset has to change. If you're going to build a bankroll, your mindset's got to change. You cannot go out there and just grind to make it through. You'll never build a bankroll that way. You cannot go out there building a bankroll thinking, I'm going to go out there 64 across and go on blast, or 160 across and go on blast and try and build a bankroll. You can't. Those are home run. That's a home run play. That is a stay and be safe play. If you're going to build a bankroll, you have to have a different target. You got to use your bankroll differently. You got to go out there with higher percentages from your rack than you're probably used to. And I've had to adjust to that, right? When I want to build that bank, I got to do that. The lessons of Daily Paycheck have taught me that. I'm 100% happy to evolve. And I've told everybody, all the people that are in my ear offline, like, I'm evolving. It takes a while to get through it, right? Just because I don't teach with an iron rod doesn't mean that that's not part of DNA that's forming here, right? So, let's see. Being challenged in the way that you think is the only way to. Yeah, I hear you. I think that's great. A great point, right? My dad, blessed dad. We've talked about Gene many times. He was a big debater, right? He loved to debate. He would always take the opposite side. He would make me defend my positions. Right? He would make me take the opposite side and defend the other side. He taught me how to do that because, to Slam's point here, you got to be willing to be challenged, number one, and you got to take a challenge head on. And it's okay to be wrong. Right? It's like the one thing that debating should teach you is that it's okay to be wrong. Yeah, you want to win. Right? But it's okay to be wrong, and you go, "Oh, okay, let me step back from that and go, man, I had right? I still believe this in my core, even though I was just proven wrong. The evolution from that to this is a little bit weird, right? And it takes a minute. It takes a minute to kind of morph into some things, or just apply some of that. Say, I was wrong. This is a different way. I'm going to apply some of that to here and maybe be less wrong. And over time, less and less wrong. I think it's an important piece, Lam. Thanks for bringing that up. Let's see. Could my paycheck practice play results actually reflect live casino play? It will at some point. I mean, what I mean by that is my casino play live that I'm tracking in that application is not this style of play. It's me going to the casino and farting around, right? So when I start really building a bankroll with actual money at a real casino, I'll log those things. See, I'll be transparent and share it. So when I get my ass kicked, you'll know with real money how bad I got killed, right? I will make it reflect live play. It's harder live. Here it's easy. Here I can go, well, who cares? New bankroll, right? In the casino, you can't. In the casino, you're like, shit, I got to go back to the room, and I'm done for the day. Different mindset, like different hit to the chest when it happens to me. So, yeah, for sure. Holy Roller, I love the idea of creating your own repeater strategy. It would work. Now there you go. Make it a cruise ship thing. I like the hard way thing for the cruise ship. For a cruise ship bonus bet where there's no ATS, the $4 hard way, 4 hits and run away with a couple $100. I love that one. That's actually pretty cool if you can get it done. Let's see. What did we learn today and how practical and risky? That's super risky what I just did out there, right? Very risky. But again, if you've this morning I showed you on the first show, one player did 320 across, took a hit at $70, regressed to 160, took a hit at 160, and left the table with 100 and whatever dollars. The other player, his teammate, did that. He did 5, 10, 5. He did $4 hard ways and 32 across and tried to hit a home run. The first player, that first hit at 320, paid for him, paid for his partner to play. The second hit paid for his next one. He actually got 2 runs for his partner out of the one drawdown. Every time partner won, the drawdown works. He buys his friend 2 cracks at it. That's a team, right? It's super risky. He could burn 320 on a PSO, 100%. And the PSO takes his 320 plus the other guy's $56 and are out $400. And then as a team, you go, are we going to lunch now? Is that our day, right? Or do you have multiple bullets at that? And it's super risky, but it's an interesting way to attack a side bet. Let's attack the bonus bet in a different way. Let's not just put 555 out there and hope it wins and we also win over here. Let's actually be tactical about it and see if we can't do it like this, right? I don't know if it's going to work. I've never run the math on it. I've never tried it in WinCraps. It just came to me. Can we do it? Can 2 people play this way and really say, I'm going to take 2 hits and turn my bets off, and I don't care that you are going to burn $56 every single time. You're going to burn that 555, the $4 and the 30. You're going to burn it every single time. You're going to burn it probably, like I said, 24 out of 25 times. You're going to burn it. One time, he's going to make $1,000. And is it worth it to do this? Is it worth it to burn 25 times to make $1,000 while this guy here is doing 2 hits and out, 2 hits and out, 2 hits and out, 2 hits and out, and letting it happen? Like, I don't know if that's worth it or not. Would it be fun to have 2 people doing that and having a really interesting teammate experience? I don't know. Think about it. That's why I'm here. Make you think about crazy shit like that. So have fun with that. 9 o'clock, I'm out. Y'all are awesome. I will fast forward my final thoughts. Or again, thanks for hearing me whine, bitch, and scream. Thanks for letting me do crazy stuff, and I appreciate your eyeballs. Love all you guys. Hit the like button on the way out, and I will see you tomorrow morning for another daily paycheck and a coffee run. Until then, I'm out.